Hey everyone, hopefully you're doing well. Got a trade recap for this Friday. Um, Actually, before I get into it, let me just say stick around because after this short clip is over with, which is the trade execution, which is what I wanted to show, I'm going to actually dig into the actual execution and go into replay mode in a trading view chart and just really do a more detailed recap of this because this entry model's been working pretty well, and well, I'll just say I've been taking a lot less trades. I'm not doing much scalping, although you might want to, we could say that the amount of points that I'm going for here is scalping, but I'm taking a heck of a lot less trades. So you notice here, this is pre-market, 7 a.m. to say 9 a.m. I'm also trading Asia and London. I've had to go back to the office, so no more work from home for me. So it makes it really difficult to scalp that 9:30 a.m. candle like I was doing with the SMM indicator. So I've resorted to some other techniques, and this trade worked out really well. Basically, it's looking at fair value gaps as points of interest and executing on order blocks or change in state of delivery candle pattern. So, like I said, I'm gonna dig deeper into this one and do a much more in-depth review. But this one hit really nicely for about $500 on my eval account. Okay, so come back here. If this is a weird spot, it's because I screwed up the video and I'm starting over. So, um, again, I'm trading gold futures and using a correlating asset of silver to determine SMT. So there's a couple things that this technique needs. It needs one fair value gap here. You can see that a higher time frame fair value gap, this is a 1 hour, and we need SMT to exist. If those two things exist, then I can look for my entry model, which is called change in state of delivery. Really, it's just an order block. And we enter on the close below and then retrace back to that change in state of delivery point, which is the open price of the order block here. I'm going to go ahead and pause the video and then kind of set everything else up to explain everything in detail. Okay, so let me go to, let me just delete a bunch of this stuff here. I'm going to leave that, and delete it. And then I'm going to go up to the 1 hour just to kind of show kind of how that trade unfolded. Hopefully that'll benefit in explaining things. I'll go ahead and reverse this back. And here we are. So again, like I mentioned, it's using fair value gaps. So at Asia, we had this big expansion candle, which created this fair value gap down here before London opened, which was here. London, 3 a.m. here. You can see it raced down, back down to this fair value gap, mitigated it, and created this fair value gap here. So this is a 1 hour fair value gap that has not been tapped yet. So there was a trade off of this fair value gap, but again, I'm not really focused. I'm prioritizing fair value gaps. So if it's already been mitigated like this, I'm looking for ones that have not been. So my interest is taking a trade off of this fair value gap. Okay, so at this point, it's 5 a.m. open and 6 a.m. close. I think I woke up just about 6:15 a.m. and I started looking at the chart. So I saw all this. I had this. This is what I had drawn out at 6:15 a.m. basically. Once I have that, drop down to the 5-minute. And again, I'm prioritizing the fair value gap above, not this one. But we'll just go ahead and run it. Okay. So this fair value gap now is fully mitigated. It actually created a inversion fair value gap here, if you recognize that. And that right there is actually an entry in and of itself. But I did not take that. Again, I'm just kind of busy in the morning. We're at 7 a.m. now. Too late for me to make any entry, so I'm really just focused on this, watching the clock. So I'm just expecting it to expand up into the fair value gap above. And I'll just run it here. Okay, so we get tapped in. Excuse me. The price taps the fair value gap of my point of interest. And then the next thing I'm looking for is sweeps of previous internal range liquidity, which is these highs right here. That's a sweep, and I think I'd already drawn this one out as well, even though price had not swept it. I understand that, but I did just leave that there like this. So anyway, the other thing, like I mentioned, that's required is SMT, which at this point we don't have, right? So if we look here, you can see there is it's still correlating. There is no SMT there. So I'm interested, but it's not really ready, if you will. So on this candle though, this is where SMT is actually starts getting generated. And I say starts because it's going to continue here. All right, so for the entry model, I have all of the elements. I'm inside of a fair value gap, an untapped, unmitigated fair value gap. Internal range liquidity has been swept, and the candle that's currently swept right here, this is my entry signal, or excuse me, my entry candle. And so what I do immediately when I see all of this, what we're looking at here, is I place my entry line on the opening price of that candle. And I think, this can be labeled many different things: change in state of delivery. It's also the bottom of an order block. And essentially the way that it works is you would look to watch price as it trades below and closes below. And once it closes below, you place a limit order for you get to get tagged in here, and then for it to sell off. So this is the entry model that's going to be playing out, and that's what played out in the clip at the beginning of this video. So these are all of the elements, and what I just drew here is what I'm expecting to see. All right, so see here, and it's just prices printing. I'm just kind of watching it, and I'm just moving these lines around like this. So I'm just expanding up the SMT. It's still holding, and checking to make sure that SMT still exists. So as long as the silver side here doesn't go like this, then SMT is still there, and I'm still waiting for that change in state of delivery candle, and which we got right there. So at 7:40 a.m. And again, this is excuse me, this is the 5-minute chart, so you have a lot of time, so this is where I placed my entry right here. Once I saw this candle close, I placed my entry right here. I had my stops at the high, and I went 2R. Is the exact trade I had in the video. And this was exactly what I was looking at this morning when this trade played out. And because it came back, tapped me in, and went down and hit targets. So hopefully that's not too confusing. Hopefully I did it justice. Again, it's not my entry model. I'll link to Matt Lober, who's the person that provided this entry technique or this model. I would recommend you go to his YouTube channel and get it from the source. I am just showing you how I used it. Again, I'm not the person to take credit for any of this stuff. I just used it, and I'm using it more and more. So anyway, hopefully that's helpful to you. If you have any questions, or if I need to clarify something, maybe I can try to do that as well. And I'm going to try to do some more back testing on this model, and just maybe do some videos on that. So anyway, thanks for watching, everyone. Hopefully you're having a great weekend, and take care.